Drama bin drama, Arab drama, ole drama, mto drama, zote pamoja. The latest bombshell released by a man called Stanley Livondo. We used to know him in those days as Stanley Mr. Moneybags Livondo, has left Kenyans in shock. The claims the man makes are off the charts. Wacha tuseme ukweli, completely off the charts. About some attempts on the life of the president. What was this all about? What was this all about? That is what my explosive show today is all about. Karibu sana. And let's not waste any more time. Let's go straight to it. Enjoy. How is it possible to analyze the motives of somebody in politics without a background? Without a brief history? You tell me. How is it possible to do that accurately? Because we need to know where Stanley Moneybags Livondo is coming from. We need to know a little more about the man before we can attempt to analyze the very explosive remarks he made at the homecoming of Moses Kuria yesterday. Now, Kenyans first heard of Stanley Livondo in February 2007, and he burst into the political limelight very dramatically. In Kakamega, his hometown. And at that funeral, a man called Boni Halwale was making a very nice speech while throwing barbs at the then president, facing very stiff competition for re-election, Emilio Stanley Kibaki. And what Livondo did, he arrived in a helicopter, completely disrupting the funeral. And then suddenly, Bwana Livondo started throwing cash down from his chopper. Lots of cash. 1,000 shilling notes. 1,000 shilling notes started raining from the sky. How do you think the mourners reacted? Everybody scrambled for the money. The funeral was in chaos. That was his grand entry into Kenyan politics. And as Kenyans were left puzzled, political observers, trying to figure out who this Livondo man was and where he had come from, because he literally dropped from the sky with his bags of money. As Kenyans were still trying to figure out what's going on, Bwana Livondo announced that he would challenge Raila Odinga for the Kibra parliamentary seat. Now there's even more drama to come. Most analysts, including yours truly, correctly predicted that the whole idea of the deep state in 2007 was to make Raila lose his parliamentary seat. You know, in those days, presidents also ran for a parliamentary seat. And if you won the presidency but lost your parliamentary seat, you were done. There was no way you're going to be a president. Because the first qualification was that you must be a member of parliament. and then win enough votes to become president. This early analysis is one of the reasons why Raila was saved. Because on election day, you'll not believe this, the first thing that happened was that when Raila turned up to cast his vote in Kibra at some primary school, his name was missing from the voters register. Yeah. Now if your name is not on the voters register, you can't vote. Period. How do you vote? You know, the whole idea with snatching the Kibra seat from Raila was centered around an idea which I still see around, that if you have enough money, you can win a parliamentary seat, hands down. Yeah, and this is exactly what Livondo did. He distributed massive amounts of cash in Kibra. Massive amounts of cash. Cash rained in Kibra. Yeah, but when election day came, the people in that constituency voted Raila. Now back to the name missing from the voters register. The news spread very fast in Kibra, and the state realized that there was going to be a problem in Kibra. Yeah. Phone calls were made, and suddenly, voila, Raila's name was in the voters register, and he voted, and he won that parliamentary seat. Now the next time we heard about Stanley Livondo was in the next general election, when he vied for the Kumekucha seat and lost. In 2013, now this is very significant, because you will remember that in 2013, one of the leading candidates in that election was President Uhuru Kenyatta, yeah, with William Ruto as his running mate. And Uhuru Kenyatta was a close political ally of Mwai Kibaki, whom Stanley Livondo had worked for before, had campaigned for before. And we all know that Uhuru Kenyatta inherited, yeah, many political tools and weapons from Mwai Kibaki. Yeah. Many Kenyans don't know this, but the deal in 2007 between Kibaki and Uhuru was that Uhuru was going to back Kibaki to the hilt in 2007. And then in 2013, Kibaki would return the favor. Well, a lot of things happened. At one point, it looked like Kibaki, yeah, would go back on his word and not back Uhuru Kenyatta. Yeah, because the stock of Musalia, you'll remember in 2013. And there's solid evidence that at one time, Kibaki solidly wanted Musalia Mudavadi to take over as president. But anyway, ultimately, Kibaki backed Uhuru. Yeah, and of course Uhuru won those elections. Now this is a very significant piece of evidence, a clue that could help us solve the mystery that everybody is trying to solve, the question that everybody is trying to ask. Who sent Livondo to Moses Kuria's meeting? Yeah, as I said earlier in this video, how on earth do you do accurate political analysis without a background, without some history? How? Yeah, because many of my competitors on YouTube are doing precisely that. And we're all drinking in the analysis. Kama maji baridi kukiwa na joto sana. Which is okay. Yeah, it's a free country. You're allowed to make decisions. Yeah. A young lady who intends to get married is allowed, yeah, to listen to the liars, yeah, she wants to listen to the nice sweet nothings, yeah, some men tell her, yeah, who promise her heaven on earth, yeah, only to deliver hell on earth as soon as they're married. But that's life. Anyway, Let us now zero in on yesterday at Moses Kuria's homecoming. Now that we have a solid background on who this Livondo character is, let us zero in. Now, Livondo was a surprise guest at Moses Kuria's homecoming in Thika. He was introduced to the crowd by Kabando wa Kabando. And Kabando wa Kabando said he was following instructions from Moses Kuria. And he didn't even give Livondo a proper introduction, which he should have. Because many people at that meeting, at least some people at that meeting, were not even born in 2007. When Livondo first burst into political limelight. And Livondo came on stage, and many people were not paying attention. Many in the crowd obviously didn't know who this man is. Huyu Muluya ametoka wapi? Kwa meeting ambaye kwa hapa Central Kenya. Ametoka wapi? Amekuja kufanya nini? And then Moneybags Livondo unleashed his political bombshell. And suddenly, everybody was paying attention. And the way he released this bombshell, there is absolutely no doubt that this speech was very well rehearsed. To ensure that even if somebody snatched the mic away from Livondo, by the time they got round to doing that, it would be too late. He would have already delivered what he came to deliver. Because he quickly mentioned the Kisumu incident and then rushed to mention the Dubai incident, where the president's jet was turned back to Kenya, which was supposed to deliver him in Dubai for him to connect with a commercial flight to the United States. But what happened is that the jet returned to Kenya without delivering the president to catch his commercial flight to the US. And to this day, that mystery has never been solved. Now, Livondo claims that that commercial flight, which the president was supposed to catch, did not happen because there was going to be an attempt on the president's life. What? And Livondo has not given us any details. There's still a lot of smoke. We cannot see clearly exactly what happened or what he wants to claim happened. All we have right now is Livondo's word. But what makes this saga even more interesting is the fact that there's a very important telltale clue in the first incident that happened in Kisumu that I want us to pay attention to. This incident actually happened on Saturday, 19th June 2020. Most of you will remember the president was about to board his flight after touring Kisumu with Raila Odinga, his handshake partner. And then, just as he was about to board the flight, indeed I believe he had already started climbing the stairs, Raila Odinga hurried forward and stopped him. And they had a brief discussion. To this day, nobody knows what Raila told him. Nobody knows what Raila told the president. But we know that immediately after that whispered conversation, Uhuru and Raila left in a vehicle with very little security, to an unknown destination. The President of the Republic of Kenya did something that has never been done before by any president in the past. He changed his plans, refused to board the aircraft, and left the airport. Those of us who are also security analysts, and those of us who understand protocol, knew that there could only be one reason for the president to behave the way he behaved, and that was something security related. Oh yes. And by the way, there are things I can't say on this public channel. They're all in my weekly intelligence briefings number 30, which I produced at the time. These weekly intelligence briefings I produced shortly after this very strange incident. And it contains a lot of sensitive information. Highly sensitive information. That will give you details. Now if you're already a subscriber, just go back and look for weekly intelligence briefings, number 33. And if you're not yet a subscriber, send a blank email to the email you see on your screens right now. And you'll become a subscriber immediately. You'll not only get all the WIBs, including the latest, but also this controversial one on what happened in Kisumu. Where you can also get these weekly intelligence briefings with information, inside information, on what happened in Kisumu. When Raila and Uhuru were there, Raila and the president. Now, the 2015 incident also left a lot of question marks. And we still don't have enough details, apart from what Livondo was trying to tell us. But we know we were given an excuse about airspace, which those of us who know blew holes into right away. I was not active politically at the time, but I knew immediately, hapa iko kitu, na hapa iko kitu kubwa. Now, what is going to happen next? This revelation by Stanley Livondo has come days before the much hyped, the much anticipated Sagana 3 meeting of the president, which I'm told will happen on Wednesday this week. There's a state lodge in Sagana, and during the first 2 Sagana meetings, the president met politicians, leaders from the Mount Kenya region. And in this Sagana 3 meeting, it is widely expected that the president will reveal why he fell out with his deputy. And he will also publicly appeal to the Mount Kenya region to vote as a bloc for Raila Odinga. It is a meeting people are waiting for with bated breath. Now, days before that meeting, Stanley Livondo seems to be preparing the ground. Because normally politically, you can never be sure how the public will react. So what you do is you drop small pieces of information, usually the most controversial information, and then you gauge whether the reaction that comes from the public is the kind of reaction you expect or you expected, and then you build up on that, so that when you make your final delivery, you're sure what the public response is going to be. That's how it's normally played. And of course, another reason for dropping these bombshells early is a clever political ploy to take over the narrative of the nation. So that the narrative is conducive when you finally stand up to make a speech. And I believe this is what is happening here. Now, of course, people are going to come out and deny. Some people are going to come out and castigate Livondo. That is how it goes. It is even possible that the president's handlers will distance themselves from Livondo's remarks. That's politics. That's how politics is played. But let's wait and see what happens. But you can be sure what happened yesterday at Moses Kuria's homecoming is a game changer in our politics. And of course, it also gives us a very vital clue as to whose side Moses Kuria belongs. Because it is Moses Kuria who invited Stanley Livondo. It is Moses Kuria who seems to have followed instructions from somebody to invite Stanley Livondo. That should be very clear. Now, before I go, I'm still gathering notes on my ongoing witchcraft series. But I'd like to take this opportunity to thank, from the bottom of my heart, those of you who are praying with me, who requested details to pray with me. Asante sana. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.